Summary of Genesis 12 to 50. Genesis chapters 12 to 50 cover the lives of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, who are all key figures in the history of the Israelites. Chapter 12 begins with God's call to Abram, later renamed Abraham, to leave his homeland and go to a land that God will show him. God promises to make him a great nation and to bless all the families of the earth through him. Abram obeys God and leaves with his wife Sarai, later renamed Sarah, and his nephew Lot. In chapter 13, Abram and Lot separate because their herds have grown too large to graze together. Lot chooses the fertile land near Sodom and Gomorrah, while Abram settles in Canaan. God reaffirms his promise to Abram to give him and his descendants the land. In chapter 15, God makes a covenant with Abram, promising him that he will have descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and that the land of Canaan will belong to his descendants. Abram believes God's promise, and God counts it as righteousness. In chapter 16, Sarai becomes impatient with God's promise of a child and gives her servant Hagar to Abram as a surrogate. Hagar bears Ishmael, but this causes tension in the family. In chapter 17, God reaffirms his covenant with Abram and changes his name to Abraham, promising him that Sarah will bear him a son. God also institutes the practice of circumcision as a sign of the covenant. In chapter 18, God visits Abraham and Sarah and tells them that Sarah will bear a son. Sarah laughs in disbelief, but Isaac is born to her in chapter 21. In chapter 22, God tests Abraham's faith by asking him to sacrifice Isaac. Abraham obediently sets out to do so but is stopped by an angel at the last moment. God blesses Abraham for his faithfulness. In chapter 25, Abraham dies, and his son Isaac becomes the next patriarch. Isaac has twin sons, Jacob and Esau, who are constantly at odds with each other. In chapter 27, Jacob tricks his father Isaac into giving him the blessing that was meant for Esau, causing Esau to hate Jacob. In chapter 28, Jacob flees to his uncle Laban's house and falls in love with Laban's daughter Rachel. Laban tricks Jacob into marrying his other daughter Leah first, but eventually, Jacob marries Rachel as well. In chapter 32, Jacob wrestles with God and is given the name Israel. He reconciles with Esau and settles in the land of Canaan. In chapter 37, Joseph, one of Jacob's sons, is sold into slavery by his brothers and taken to Egypt. There he rises to prominence in Potiphar's house but is falsely accused and thrown into prison. In chapter 41, Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams and is appointed as governor of Egypt. He stores up grain in preparation for a famine that he had predicted. In chapter 42, Joseph's brothers come to Egypt seeking food, and Joseph reveals his identity to them. He forgives them and invites the whole family to come and settle in Egypt. In chapter 47, Jacob and his family move to Egypt, where they are given the land of Goshen to live in. Jacob blesses his sons, and then dies in chapter 49. In chapter 50, Joseph forgives his brothers once again and promises to care for them and their families. He dies at a ripe old age and is buried in Egypt, but he makes the Israelites promise to carry his bones with them when they leave Egypt. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.